Welcome to the Vermilion Podcast, a free audio library of business strategies, creative inspiration, and industry knowledge for actors, filmmakers, writers, and anyone looking to activate their creative potential. I'm Misha, Calvert, a writer-director who helps artists build the careers that they dream of. I really hope that this podcast inspires you in some way. Thanks for tuning in. Actors Access versus Backstage versus casting networks. The amount of options that you have as an actor on self-submitting can be pretty overwhelming. So today I'm going to talk you through these 3 different platforms and help you to understand which one might be right for you, because they all do different things. So I want you to understand them so that you can use them as tools. And also, I want to destigmatize self-submitting so that you know where it fits into your total strategy, because most people should be self-submitting, even if you have an agent or manager. I'm going to explain why. The first thing that I want to cover is the stigma around self-submitting. A lot of people that I know hate self-submitting. I was just having lunch with somebody that I know who is basically a Broadway level actor. I mean, he was on Broadway. He has incredible theater chops, and he also took a long hiatus from acting to do some other things. And now he's coming back to acting, and he's really not interested in self-submitting and kind of getting his work out there. So the question is why? Because it feels to him kind of demeaning. And I just want to stop everyone right there. Self-submitting is not demeaning. Self-submitting is marketing. You could self-submit without even wanting the role because you just want to get your name out there. It's the equivalent of saying, "Hi, hello, I exist," and showing them your picture. It's basically like handing out business cards. Is it tedious? Yeah, but we have a plan for that. I just want you to be introducing yourself and handing out business cards via self-submissions to casting directors, and producers, and I want you to do it 5 days a week. Take the emotion out of it. Take the ego out of it as well. Like, stop thinking of it as either the only way that you're going to get work or something that only desperate actors do who can't get work. It's neither. Think of it instead like brushing your teeth. Most of us brush our teeth every day. Then this is going to be the equivalent of brushing your teeth. Are you emotional about brushing your teeth? No. You're not like, "Oh, I'm so angry. I have to brush my teeth right now." Or, "Oh God, I really, really hope that I don't get cavities after this brushing tonight. Man, I really need this to work out for me." Imagine if you were loading your brushing with all of that emotion, right? It would be insane. I want you to think of self-submitting the same way that you think about something as brainless as brushing your teeth. That's what it should be. So just think of it as something that's completely lacking in emotion. Think of it as lacking in a desire for a result as well. It's just marketing. And sometimes it'll lead to an audition, and sometimes it'll lead to a booking. But that's not why we do it. We do it to get the word out there. Think of it as handing out business cards. As a result, the faster and more effective you can get at it, the better. If you're brushing your teeth, you don't want it to take more than, let's say, 3 minutes maximum, right? But you do want to do a good job, because if you do it and you do like a bad job at it, then you're going to get cavities. So you want to make sure that you're submitting effectively, but that it's not taking up a ton of time. So that's why I say 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, once a day. The other reason in the macro to self-submit is that right now, as of the time of recording, it's 2025, middle of the summer. And I don't know the numbers on New York, but LA, if you're like, "Oh, it's so quiet, there's nothing filming," or, "I'm not getting auditions," it's not you. Union jobs are down to 27% of where they were 2 years ago in terms of union jobs on film and TV sets. So that's an over 2/3 reduction in the amount of union hires that are happening. We presume that this number will go up and that we're here at this moment in time due to a confluence of factors that have led to this contraction in production filming in the US. However, we are here. It doesn't matter why we're here. We're here. And you can't afford to stay the same. If things are 2/3 quieter, you have to be 2/3 louder. You cannot exert the same amount of effort with marketing, outreach, and auditions and expect the same result that you got 2 years ago. If you don't change your efforts and your output, you're probably going to, just by staying the same, you're going to get 2/3 less auditions. Maybe even less than that, because everyone else is going to be upping their efforts to get seen in order to make up for that gap. So you're not on an even playing field anymore. You have other people who are outperforming you. And that is why it can go from not a 2/3 reduction, but a 90% reduction in the auditions that are coming in for you. So I just think whether you're repped or not, whether you're doing indie films, no matter where you are, you can't afford to not be self-submitting at this time. Take the ego out of it. It's just a way to get your name out and to show people that you exist and to also have a chance to show them your work. Anyway, let's talk about the different platforms for self-submitting. The first and most important is Actors Access. Yes, Actors Access is industry standard for self-submitting, and here's why. It is linked to breakdowns. If you don't know what breakdowns are, those are the announcements of things that are casting that go out to agents and managers from casting directors, the roles that are currently out casting, and the agents and managers see the breakdown every day, and they pick projects to submit their roster to that are casting. And then the casting director gets to decide who of the submissions they're actually going to schedule to either have a live audition or to send in a tape. Actors Access and Breakdown Express, which is the breakdowns that I just described, those are all run by Breakdown Services. So think of Breakdown Services as the umbrella, and then underneath that you have Breakdown Express, and then also Actors Access. And Actors Access is the publicly accessible version of certain breakdowns. Most of what goes out on the breakdowns to agents and managers is not going to be available on Actors Access. Why? Actors Access is for the public. It's for public consumption. Anyone can sign up as long as you pay the fee, right? So it's very open to the masses, open to anybody, whether they have acting training or not. Agents and managers don't want 20,000 people submitting for these larger projects. They don't want to have to sift through 20,000 untrained actors. You can just imagine how insane that would be. They don't have the resources to go through 20,000 submissions for every role. Obviously, they want a more curated pool of actors who have more credits, who have more training, who are further along in their career. And that's why they will submit for the larger film and TV projects on breakdowns. That breakdowns is not going out to the public. It's only going out to the agents and the managers. So who posts on Actors Access? Independent filmmakers, students who are in film school, some of whom are doing great work, niche roles that they are having trouble casting from breakdowns. So let's say, okay, it's White Lotus season 4, but it's for circus performer who is under 5 feet tall, who can stilt walk and juggle. And they have to be Latino because it's set in Brazil this time. And that would be a hyper niche role that they're going to have trouble if they just put that on breakdowns. How many agents and managers are going to have that specific a role? So that's where Actors Access comes in handy, and you'll find a lot of special skills or special language or dialects, and you can still find bigger TV and films putting stuff out on Actors Access. It's usually just more niche. So my recommendation for how to use Actors Access effectively is to get the yearly subscription. Do not submit piecemeal on Actors Access. Why? Because the amount of submissions you're going to have to do in order to get any sort of traction on your efforts is large. You're going to have to cover a lot of ground. So quantity is going to be really important. And you don't want to be paying, I don't even know how much it is per submission, but it's just cost benefit analysis. Like, do not do it. You want to do the unlimited, I don't know, it's like 100 something a year. It's really not bad. And it will be well worth it if you're able to submit for 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You need to make sure that you have on your profile on Actors Access a video clip. Try and have something that's not just a self-tape. If you only have a self-tape, that's fine. I don't love the pay to create a real kind of a thing, like the pay clips. They don't look like they were taken from a real project. So you can also shoot a high quality clip yourself for like next to nothing and have someone edit it for very, very cheap. You just have to put a little bit of effort into creating a clip and you can get something actually quite professional looking. So you want a clip of some kind or your reel. If you have absolutely nothing else, a self-tape, I guess. You want a headshot, you want your resume, and you want a slate shot attached to every photo. Why? If you don't have those 4 things, you're going to be bottom listed, meaning your name is at the bottom. And if you only have 1 thing, your name is at the very bottom. If you only have 2 things, it's a little bit above that. If you only have 3 things, it's a little bit above that. So if you have all 4, you're at the very top. And yes, some casting directors will sort all submissions by whatever criteria they're sifting through. But automatically, it's sorted by order of, do you have these 4 boxes checked? Headshot, resume, reel or clip, and slate shot. So just have them. Just get them, have something up there. And regarding the slate shot, don't overthink it. It's not that deep. Get in front of a wall, any wall. Could be something like this, literally. It could be a blank white wall. And say, "Hi, my name is Misha Calvert. Great to meet you." Or, "Thanks so much. Have a great day," right? It can be 2 sentences. It could be 1 sentence. It could just be your name. Don't overthink it because very likely no one's ever going to watch it. It's just for the algorithm to make sure that you're at the top of the search results when you submit. Why aren't they going to watch it? Because you're already going to have to tape another slate shot for every audition. They're going to watch your slate shot for the audition, and you want to make sure that those follow the instructions, whatever they ask for. Don't overthink the Actors Access slate shot because probably no one's going to see it or care, but do make one. And then finally, don't overthink the notes section attached to each submission. You don't have to put a note every time, but if they're asking for that circus performing Brazilian stilt walker, you could say in the notes, "By the way, I'm Brazilian, and I was in the circus." And that would be helpful because authenticity is really important these days for casting. And if you have real world experience, like that's a noteworthy note to leave. The main thing that is necessary is that you got to do this 5 days a week, once a day, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. You're going to thank me when you start to get a ton of auditions because my people at Vermilion, they're working. They are working. They're getting auditions. They're getting a lot of auditions. And I want the same for you. If you want to get accountability on getting those auditions and booking them, talk to me about joining as a Vermilion member. We would love to have you. You get me live. I'm talking about your specific career, your specific issues. We figure out solutions together. We strategize together. And everyone is so great. They're so talented. I love the people who are members of Vermilion. Truly, like literally and truly love them. Let's talk about Backstage. Backstage is also a great place to self-submit. It covers a little bit of different ground because, as mentioned, Actors Access is linked to Breakdowns. And Breakdowns is going to be doing a lot of major TV shows and film because Breakdown Services is where those things go out. It's the only place where those things go out. So Backstage, on the other hand, is wonderful for indie film, for high-level student films, for web series, for verticals. And my clients are sometimes booking more from Backstage than they are on Actors Access, depending on where they're at in their career. For me, Actors Access is priority just because of the level of projects that it can encompass. But if you want to increase your exposure and the amount that you're auditioning and booking, I would do both. It's not that deep. Don't think about it. You just need 5 minutes a day on each, 10 minutes a day on both profiles. Total. Self-submitting, that's it. And to do this, you're going to want to go to Backstage, create a profile that mirrors your Actors Access profile. So whatever strengths you're leading with, whether it's film or TV, have the same profile crossover to Backstage. Do the same strategy, 5 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, once a day. And if you see a posting on both, just submit on one of the platforms. You don't have to submit on both platforms. And that's it. Do both. If you have to pick, I say do Actors Access, but both is even better. And I do want to caution you to be aware of scams. I think it's harder to get scams through on Actors Access. I really don't see that many of them because it is linked to the larger industry through breakdowns. I hear about and see more scams on Backstage, so I just want to take a sec to say they are definitely out there. However, there's a difference between a poorly worded or an overly legal audition notice and a scam. Some of them just aren't written very well, but it doesn't mean that they're a scam. So when in doubt, ask your actor friends. It's so simple. Like, no need to be really wigged out about it. Just screenshot, show it to a few actor friends, say, hey, what do you think of this? Hey, does this look like a scam? Or you can email Backstage and you can say, hey, can you verify if this is legitimate or not? Here's some common things that I've heard or seen. You should never pay money for an audition. That's not how it works. You're trying to get paid. You should never travel for the first round of an audition. That's what self-tapes are for. And I've seen a client got targeted with that where he had to pay the, quote, travel agent back for the flight out to LA for some major movie. It was fake. And then finally, don't ever meet with an agent or manager that approaches you from Backstage. That's an unserious inquiry. Agents and managers will approach you directly via email if somehow they get your information. So I wouldn't trust any rep that comes to you through Backstage. Okay, let's talk about casting networks. The ugly stepchild of the three. But you really are just for commercials. That's why you're here. You're just the annoying little sister screaming for attention, wanting to just do the commercial and then not do anything narrative, not do anything serious. And we're not expecting anything serious out of you. We know that you're just here to mess around and do commercials, and that's it. That's fine. So if you want to do commercials, be on casting networks, maintain a profile, but gear all of your materials towards commercial acting. So that means including your on-camera experience, making sure you have your commercial shots up there, usually light, bright, show teeth, etc. But don't expect anything else out of good old CN. Now, if you have a commercial rep, great. Let them handle all of your submissions on casting networks. I don't think that you should be putting in effort on casting networks. I also find it just very overwhelming and draining whenever I go on there. So you want to do commercials? Figure out how to get a commercial rep, and then let the rep handle it. Let them do your submissions on CN. So this is kind of an exception to my rule about self-submitting, because castings for commercials happen at a much faster pace than narrative auditions. Commercial agents and casting directors, they're built different. I mean, I don't know how they do it. Mad respect. They're just, their brains are different. Because to be able to keep all of those names in their heads and all of those different commercials in their heads, because it's a shorter casting time and a shorter shoot time and a shorter turnaround time. There's also way more commercials than there are anything else, obviously. So this is why I say for commercials, maybe let your rep handle it and you focus on AA and BS. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I get a lot of questions about self-submitting, and I get a lot of questions about these platforms, so I just wanted to kind of clear it up. Tell me if you end up increasing your auditions after this. Tell me if you end up booking from one of these platforms as a result of these tips. I really want to know, and I really hope that it works for you. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.
The Vermilion podcast is sponsored by Vermilion, a home for artists. We offer classes, coaching, and community for creatives and innovators in the arts. If you're ready to find your voice and build the life of your dreams, we're here to support you every step of the way. Check out clubvermilion.com and schedule a free call today.